The sun rose over Earth, bringing light to a world filled with hope and dreams. But that morning a dark shadow loomed. News of a brutal attack spread like wildfire. The Galactic Empire had struck without warning, targeting a peaceful gathering on the outskirts of a major city. Among those gathered was a beloved human leader, a voice of unity for all nations. His death sent shock waves across the planet. As the news broke, chaos erupted. In homes, offices, and streets, people stared at screens, their faces pale and eyes wide with disbelief. Social media buzzed with messages of anger and grief. How could they do this? Many asked, their hearts heavy with sorrow. Memes of the fallen leader flooded the internet, and hashtags like, "or vengeance," for humanity trended worldwide. In a small apartment, a young woman named Maya watched the news with tears in her eyes. She had always admired the leader's courage and his dreams of a united Earth. As she listened to the news anchor explain the attack, her fists clenched in anger. "They think they can just come here and take our lives?" she muttered under her breath. Maya turned to her younger brother, who was still trying to process the news. "We need to do something," she exclaimed, her voice filled with determination. Across town, a group of leaders gathered in a large conference room. They represented different countries and cultures, but now they shared one purpose: revenge. The mood was tense as they discussed their options. Some argued for diplomacy, suggesting they reach out to the Galactic Empire and demand justice. "We can't let them think they can walk all over us," said one leader, his voice firm. Others, however, were fueled by rage. "They killed our leader. We must respond with strength," shouted another. The room erupted into debate, voices clashing as emotions ran high. Maya's father, a respected general, stood up to speak. "We have to unite as one. We can't show weakness now. If we do, they will strike again," he warned, his eyes scanning the room. The leaders fell silent, realizing the truth in his words. As the sun set, casting an orange glow over the city, the decision was made. Earth would retaliate. A plan was set in motion to mobilize military forces across the globe. Soldiers began training harder, weapons were readied, and technology was upgraded. Humanity was preparing for war. Maya felt a surge of hope. She joined a group of volunteers who wanted to help in any way they could. They organized rallies and protests, raising awareness about the need for unity and strength. "We will show them that we are not afraid," she cried at one rally, her voice echoing in the night. The crowd roared in agreement, their spirits lifted. Days turned into weeks as the world prepared for battle. Tensions rose as the Galactic Empire remained silent, perhaps underestimating the resolve of humanity. News reports flooded in, highlighting protests, military preparations, and stories of human bravery. The Empire's ships continued to patrol the skies, but Earth was ready to fight back. Meanwhile, Maya received a message from her father. He had been chosen to lead a special unit designed to infiltrate and gather intelligence on the Empire. "I will do everything I can to keep you safe," he promised. Maya felt a mix of pride and fear. She knew the dangers he faced, but she also knew he was fighting for their future. As the date for the first counterattack approached, the mood on Earth shifted. People were no longer just mourning, they were preparing for war. A fierce determination filled the air. "We will not let their cruelty go unanswered," became a rallying cry. Posters of the fallen leader were everywhere, a reminder of what they were fighting for. On the day of the attack, the atmosphere was electric. Soldiers lined up ready to take flight, and civilians gathered to watch. Earth was ready to respond, united and strong. The Galactic Empire had ignited a fire within humanity that could not be extinguished. They had crossed a line, and now Earth would ensure that they would pay dearly. The battle for humanity's survival had begun, and they would not back down. With hearts filled with anger and hope, the people of Earth stood together, ready to show the Galactic Empire the true strength of humanity. Their message was clear: your worlds will burn. As dawn broke over Earth, the air was thick with tension. The first whispers of retaliation began to echo through the streets. People were not just mourning anymore, they were ready to fight. The death of their leader had ignited a fire within humanity, a fierce desire for justice. Across the globe, every city felt the pulse of anger and unity. Maya stood at the forefront of a massive rally in the heart of her city. Thousands of voices rose together chanting, "We will fight! We will win!" Her heart raced with excitement and fear. She had never seen such a gathering of people all focused on one goal: Signs filled the air, some displaying messages like vengeance for humanity, while others showed the face of their fallen leader, eyes full of life and promise. On stage, influential speakers rallied the crowd. "We cannot let the Galactic Empire think they can take what they want," shouted one speaker. "We must rise up. Together we are stronger than ever." The crowd roared in agreement, their fury growing stronger with every word. Maya felt empowered, knowing that she was part of something much bigger than herself. Meanwhile, in military bases around the world, preparations ramped up. Soldiers trained tirelessly, running drills and honing their skills. New weapons were tested and strategies were discussed in high-stakes meetings. The leaders of Earth were determined to hit the Galactic Empire hard, showing them that humanity would not be a weak target. General Rivera, Maya's father, was at the center of these efforts. He coordinated with military leaders from various countries, uniting their forces into one powerful army. "We must strike fast and hard," he said during a briefing. "The Empire thinks they can bully us. They will soon learn that we will fight back with everything we have." His words were met with nods of agreement and determined faces. As the days passed, small victories began to surface. Earth's forces launched surprise attacks on the Empire's supply routes. Ships from Earth struck quickly, hitting the enemy before they even knew what was happening. These operations boosted morale and fueled the fire of resistance. Each success was celebrated, reinforcing the belief that they could stand up to the Empire. But the Galactic Empire was not without its own strengths. They retaliated with overwhelming force. Massive warships filled the skies, casting shadows over cities below. News reports showed their devastating attacks, and fear crept back into the hearts of some. "What if we are not strong enough?" they whispered. Yet every setback only fueled the resolve of those willing to fight. In the midst of this chaos, Maya continued to volunteer, helping organize efforts to support the troops. She distributed supplies and offered words of encouragement to soldiers heading off to battle. One evening, she met a soldier named Jake, who shared stories of his training and the challenges he faced. "We will show them what humans are made of," he said, his eyes gleaming with determination. His confidence inspired her and reminded her why they were fighting. Meanwhile, protests continued to grow, and the message of unity spread across continents. People shared stories of their loved ones lost in the Empire's attack, weaving a rich tapestry of shared grief and hope. The anger felt by many transformed into a rallying cry. Each day, more and more people joined the cause. They were no longer just fighting for one leader, they were fighting for every human life. As Earth prepared for a more extensive campaign, the leaders held urgent meetings. They discussed the need for allies, reaching out to other planets and races affected by the Empire's cruelty. "We are not alone in this fight," General Rivera reminded them. "Others suffer too, and together we can create a coalition strong enough to challenge the Empire." As word spread, messages of support began to pour in from distant worlds. Races once thought to be enemies were now standing with humanity, sharing technology and resources. This united front filled Maya and others with hope. They realized they were part of a larger battle, one that could change the course of history. The day of the next major offensive was set. Excitement buzzed through the air as Earth prepared for the strike. They would show the Galactic Empire that they were no longer afraid. This was no longer just about revenge, it was about standing up for every person, every home, and every dream. Maya stood among her fellow citizens, ready to face whatever came next. "We will not back down," she shouted, her voice ringing with conviction. The crowd responded with a loud cheer, their spirits lifted, united in their mission. Together, they would rise against the darkness that threatened their world. The Galactic Empire had awakened a force they could not control, and the fury of humanity was just beginning to burn brightly. The day of the great clash had finally arrived. Earth's forces, united and ready, gathered at a massive military base, their hearts filled with determination. Soldiers lined up in neat rows, their uniforms crisp and their faces set in expressions of resolve. They knew they were fighting not just for their country, but for every human life across the planet. The time had come to face the Galactic Empire head-on. Maya stood with her friends, watching as ships prepared for launch. The sky was dotted with the sleek designs of Earth's new warships, each one a testament to human innovation and spirit. She could feel the excitement and fear buzzing in the air. "We're finally going to show them what we're made of," she said, gripping Jake's arm tightly. His eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as he nodded in agreement. As the first wave of ships took off, cheers erupted from the crowd below. The roar of engines filled the air, and a sense of pride surged through everyone watching. These were not just machines. They represented humanity's determination to fight back against their oppressors. The ships ascended into the sky, leaving trails of smoke behind them, signaling the beginning of the end for the Galactic Empire. Meanwhile, in the vast expanse of space, the Galactic Empire was on high alert. Their ships, heavily armed and ready, had been waiting for this moment. Commander Zarek, a stern figure with a reputation for ruthlessness, stood on the bridge of his flagship. He sneered as he watched Earth's ships approach. "They think they can challenge us? They will soon learn the price of defiance," he growled, his voice low and dangerous. As the two forces met in the cold depths of space, the clash began. Earth's ships moved in tight formations, using their numbers to create a wall of defense. They fired volleys of laser beams at the Empire's ships, explosions lighting up the darkness. "For Earth!" shouted a pilot over the comms, his voice filled with passion as he led his squadron into battle. The Galactic Empire responded with precision. Their ships retaliated, firing back with devastating firepower. One Earth ship was hit and began to spin out of control, smoke billowing from its hull. Maya watched in horror as the screen showed the chaos unfolding. "No! Come on, stay strong!" she whispered, hoping for a miracle. In the midst of the chaos, General Rivera commanded the ground forces, coordinating attacks from various fronts. His voice crackled through the communication systems, calm and focused. "We need to flank them! Use the element of surprise," he ordered. Troops on the ground pushed forward, determined to engage the enemy. As the ground assault began, Earth's soldiers faced fierce resistance. The Galactic Empire's forces were well-trained and ruthless. Clashes erupted in the streets of nearby cities, turning once peaceful places into battlegrounds. Smoke filled the air, and the sounds of gunfire rang out, echoing through the chaos. But Earth's soldiers fought with unyielding bravery, their hearts fueled by the desire to protect their world. Maya and her friends volunteered to assist the medical teams, rushing to help the wounded. The makeshift hospital was filled with soldiers who had fought valiantly, many with injuries that would take time to heal. "Keep fighting!" Maya urged a soldier, bandaging his arm. "We're going to win this!" Her words, filled with hope, seemed to inspire him even through the pain. Back in space, the battle raged on. Earth's forces were relentless, pressing the attack. Each victory spurred them on, and they pushed deeper into the Empire's territory. The clash was brutal, with both sides suffering losses. Yet Earth's soldiers were fueled by their anger and determination. They were not just fighting for revenge, they were fighting for the future. As the battle continued, an unexpected turn of events occurred. A massive galactic cruiser appeared on the horizon, dwarfing Earth's ships. The sight sent a wave of fear through the ranks of humanity. "What is that?" one pilot exclaimed, panic creeping into his voice. It was clear that the Empire had been holding back its might, and now it was ready to unleash its full power. Commander Zarek smirked, sensing victory within his grasp. "Now they will see what true strength looks like," he declared, ordering his forces to concentrate their firepower on Earth's ships. But as the Empire advanced, Earth's forces rallied together. Maya felt a surge of courage within her. "We can't give up! This is our home!" she shouted, encouraging those around her. The battle was fierce, but with every clash, humanity's resolve only grew stronger. The clash between Earth and the Galactic Empire was more than just a fight. It was a declaration that humanity would not be crushed. They stood tall against the darkness, ready to fight for every life and every dream. And as the sounds of battle echoed through space and Earth alike, one thing was clear: the fight had just begun, and humanity would not back down. The battle raged on, and the sound of explosions filled the air like thunder. Earth's forces faced overwhelming odds as the massive galactic cruiser loomed closer, its dark silhouette striking fear into the hearts of many. However, amidst the chaos, hope began to flicker like a candle in the dark. General Rivera stood on the command bridge of a smaller Earth ship, determination etched across his face. "We need to adapt our strategy. We can't fight them head-on. We need to outsmart them," he urged his officers. The room was filled with tension, but his words sparked a sense of unity among the crew. They understood that this was not just about strength, it was about strategy and heart. Meanwhile, on the ground, Maya and her friends continued their efforts to support the soldiers. The makeshift hospital was filled to the brim, and cries of pain echoed as medics worked tirelessly to help the injured. "We need to get more supplies," Maya said, her voice steady. "We can't let our soldiers down now." Her friends nodded, their faces resolute. Together, they gathered what they could and set out into the streets, dodging the sounds of battle. Outside, they saw soldiers pushing forward, determined to gain ground. "We're not losing this fight!" one soldier yelled as he charged toward the enemy line. Maya felt a rush of pride. They were all fighting for the same cause. As Earth's forces regrouped, they devised a new plan. Utilizing their agility and speed, smaller ships would take advantage of the galactic cruiser's size. "We'll distract them and hit their weak points," a pilot shouted, excitement growing in the room. General Rivera nodded, knowing this could be the turning point they desperately needed. The moment arrived, and the new plan was put into action. A wave of smaller Earth ships darted forward, weaving between the larger cruisers. The pilots skillfully maneuvered through enemy fire, drawing the Empire's attention away from the main fleet. "Look at them go!" one officer shouted as he watched the daring pilots execute their strategy. With the Empire focused on the smaller ships, Earth's larger vessels took their chance. They unleashed a barrage of fire targeting the cruiser's weak spots. The impact of the blasts shook the cruiser, and the crew felt the thrill of hope surging through them. "We can do this!" shouted one pilot, his voice echoing through the communication system. Back on the ground, Maya and her friends witnessed the ships battling above. The sight filled them with pride and hope. "They're fighting for us!" she exclaimed, her heart racing as the tide of battle began to shift in humanity's favor. The ground soldiers felt the same surge of energy, knowing that their efforts were not in vain. The galactic cruiser, now taking significant damage, began to falter. Commander Zarek, who had been so confident, could feel the tide turning. "Focus all fire on those smaller ships," he bellowed, desperation creeping into his voice. But as they tried to retaliate, Earth's forces had already adapted and evaded the oncoming fire. With each successful hit on the cruiser, the spirits of Earth's soldiers soared. They felt united, each victory reminding them of their shared purpose. "We are humanity! We will not be crushed!" a soldier yelled as he pushed forward, gaining ground with his comrades. As the battle continued, news spread among the troops about the growing support from allied planets. Races that had once feared the Galactic Empire were now joining the fight. Their ships began to arrive, joining the fray and adding their firepower to the struggle. This unexpected alliance boosted morale across the board. "We're not alone!" shouted a pilot, realizing that hope had returned. Maya and her friends continued their work, aiding soldiers and providing supplies wherever they could. They felt the energy of the battle shift, each explosion above them sounding like a victory bell. "This is it! We're turning the tide!" she exclaimed, her heart full of hope. The galactic cruiser, now crippled and vulnerable, began to retreat. The once formidable Empire ship struggled to hold its position against the onslaught from both Earth and their new allies. Zarek, realizing the imminent defeat, felt a cold sweat run down his back. "Fall back! We can regroup!" he ordered, his voice trembling with fear. As Earth's forces surged forward, they cheered in triumph. They had faced the impossible and emerged victorious. The tide had turned, but the battle was far from over. They had proven that humanity could stand together and fight back against the darkness. With renewed strength, Maya looked up at the sky filled with fighting ships, feeling a mix of fear and hope. They had begun to reclaim their world, and the message was clear: Earth would not go down without a fight. The Galactic Empire would soon learn that they had awakened a force stronger than they could have ever imagined. Humanity was rising, and they were ready to burn bright against their enemies. The final assault was upon them. After weeks of fierce battles, Earth's forces prepared for the ultimate confrontation with the Galactic Empire. They had faced many challenges and had grown stronger with each encounter. Now they stood united, ready to reclaim their planet and show the Empire the strength of humanity. General Rivera gathered his top commanders in the command center of the flagship. Maps and holograms of enemy positions filled the room, creating a tense atmosphere. "This is it," he said, his voice steady yet firm. "We have pushed them back, but they still have power. We need to strike hard and fast. We can't give them a chance to regroup." Maya watched from the side, her heart racing as the general laid out the plan. The strategy involved a two-pronged attack. The air fleet would lead the charge while ground forces pushed through enemy lines on the surface. It was risky, but the team believed in their mission. We have to show them that Earth is not a world to be taken lightly, Maya thought, gripping her fists in determination. As the fleet prepared for launch, the atmosphere was electric. Pilots strapped into their seats, ready to fight for their homes. The roar of engines filled the air, and cheers echoed through the hangar. Maya stood by her friends, feeling the adrenaline pump through her veins. "This is our chance to end this once and for all," she shouted, her voice rising above the noise. In space, the ships ascended, their formations sleek and powerful. Earth's fighters led the way, darting through the darkness like fireflies, while the massive cruisers followed closely behind, their weapons primed. "We're with you, Earth!" the Allied ships called out as they joined the fight. Together, they formed a united front against the Galactic Empire. As they approached the enemy stronghold, the ships of the Galactic Empire appeared like shadows in the void. Commander Zarek, realizing the magnitude of the assault, clenched his fists in anger. "They think they can defeat us? We will crush them!" he shouted, ordering his forces to prepare for battle. But deep inside, he felt a flicker of doubt. Earth had proven to be tougher than he had anticipated. The clash erupted with a deafening sound as the two forces collided. Laser beams lit up the darkness, and explosions rippled through space. Maya felt her heart pounding as she watched the chaos unfold on the screens in the command center. The bravery of the pilots inspired her, reminding her that they were fighting for their future. On the ground, the soldiers charged forward, storming enemy positions. The once quiet streets were now a battlefield, filled with smoke and sounds of combat. Maya and her friends joined the medical team, rushing to help the injured. "Stay strong! We're here!" she shouted as they tended to a soldier with a wounded leg. The resolve of her friends motivated her. They would not let anyone fall behind. As the battle raged on, the tide began to shift in Earth's favor. The Empire's defenses weakened, and their ships struggled to hold their ground. General Rivera saw the opening they had been waiting for. "Now is our moment! Push forward! Show them our strength!" he commanded, his voice booming with authority. With renewed energy, Earth's forces surged forward, breaking through the enemy lines. They fought with everything they had, each soldier driven by the desire to protect their planet. Maya felt the fire of determination in her heart as she watched her comrades pushing forward, their bravery shining through the smoke. Suddenly, amidst the chaos, a beam of energy struck one of Earth's cruisers, sending it spiraling out of control. The sight sent shockwaves through the ranks, but Maya knew they had to stay focused. "We can't let fear take over! We fight for those who cannot!" she yelled, rallying her friends around her. With every blast fired and every enemy ship destroyed, Earth's forces pressed on. The Galactic Empire was crumbling under the pressure, their once mighty fleet faltering. Commander Zarek, witnessing the collapse of his forces, felt the weight of defeat crashing down on him. "Fall back! Retreat!" he shouted, panic creeping into his voice. As the Galactic Empire began to retreat, cheers erupted from Earth's forces. They had done it. They had pushed back the invaders and reclaimed their right to exist. The sounds of victory rang out across the battlefield, filling hearts with hope. Maya and her friends embraced, tears of joy streaming down their faces. "Earth will not be taken!" she shouted, her voice echoing with pride. Together, they had faced the impossible and emerged victorious. The battle had tested them in ways they never thought possible, but it had also united them like never before. With the Empire in retreat, the skies began to clear, revealing the bright blue of Earth. The sun shone down, casting a warm light over the battlefield. Humanity had shown their strength, resilience, and heart. They had turned the tide, and the Galactic Empire would never forget the day they learned that Earth would fight back. As Maya looked around at her friends and the soldiers who fought alongside her, she knew one thing for certain. Humanity would rise again, no matter the odds. The final assault had been a declaration that Earth was home, and they would protect it at all costs.